The Herd Line News.
I'm not sure if Nick Wright heard my open, but I do believe the NBA and basketball in general, from AAU to college to the NBA, is the player empowerment league. I have no problem with that. I don't think the NFL is that. And I've seen Elway and Eli say, nah, bruh, I'm going elsewhere. Hockey's very much about the team, not about the individual. And I saw Eric Lindros say, nah, I'm not playing here. I'm Zion. I say trade me or I'm sitting out. And I don't think we'd hold it against him for a minute. Via the Coward Global Satellite Network, my buddy Nick Wright. So let's start with that. I do not think my idea is crazy and loony. I was disappointed for the kid. What do you make of my idea?
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy and pretty loony. So if he were to go back to Duke, re-enter the draft, he is assured of what? That he now has the opportunity to be drafted by the Suns, to be drafted by the Kings, to be drafted by a team that does not all of a sudden have a really good general manager like David Griffin is. Zion Williamson was once we heard who had the first four picks were going to be, the Knicks or Lakers likely would have then traded him to New Orleans. The New Orleans would draft him. He was if he's been following this at all, he's known even if the Knicks get the pick, they might then trade me. Because they got the pick, they can now surround him with talent by trading Anthony Davis. That you can make the argument the entire draft system is unfair. If you're a prodigy in anything else, you get to pick your city. You get to pick who you work for. We can go down that road. But this specific instance, to be young, rich, and single and live in New Orleans and play for a good GM, have Drew Holiday, and whatever you get for Anthony Davis doesn't seem bad to me. He didn't get drafted by the Kings. I don't know why he would do it, and I don't know that it would guarantee anything other than him potentially having to give up a year of earning potential to roll the dice that a worse team could get him.
Well, first of all, I don't think Sacramento's bad at all anymore. And by the way, New Orleans can't sell tickets. It's an NFL city. And by the way, Zion would not go unpaid. I'm sure Nike would find an internship that paid $15 million a year, and he could go do whatever he wanted to do.
Oh, okay, so a couple things on that. You're absolutely right. De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield are excellent young players. I love Fox. I watched him in high school when I was living in Houston. But my point when I brought them up was they are the worst run organization in the NBA. Vlade Divac will never get the hang of this and still has not gotten the hang of this. But Nike wants Zion on the court. You act like Nike wasn't paying Anthony Davis. They were. They want Zion to continue the buzz he built up at Duke, and playing for the national team does not accomplish that. He's not going to go back and play another season at Duke where Nike couldn't be paying him. I understand the sentiment of what you're saying, but I don't think he's in a bad spot. I think David Griffin's great, and I think they are going to be able to surround him with young blue-chip talent once they trade Anthony Davis.
So now let's say, by the way, a lot of people thought the Lakers won last night with the 4 pick, and all my scouts are saying there's a gap from 3 to 4, and that 4 on is there's players, but there's some crapshoot. Whereas there's not a crapshoot with Zion, Ja Morant, and Barrett. These guys, Barrett averaged 22 at Duke, and that was sharing the ball in the spotlight with Zion. The kid's going to be a scorer. Some have said he's Harden-esque, so that's a little much, but he can score. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do the Lakers give you? Nobody wants Lonzo. He can't stay healthy in the dad. Brandon Ingram has a blood issue. Kyle Kuzma and a silhouette 4 pick. Anthony Davis is not Dale Davis.
Hold on. All right, hold on. Let's talk about this for a second. Because I heard you saying the Lakers, going from 11 to 4, he's not winning. I know you almost assuredly, you don't play Powerball. You don't play the lottery. You already have hit the Powerball, so why would you play it? But, so someone that does occasionally play it, let me tell you how it works. If you get all 5 numbers and the Powerball, you get like $200 million, whatever it is. If you get all 5 numbers but not the Powerball, you get $1 million. If you do that, you won the lottery that day. You hit the lottery. You didn't win everything, but you won a lot. Going from 11, which is an absolute crapshoot. There are no blue chippers. If you get a blue chipper there, it's dumb luck. up to 4 is an enormous upgrade. So now let's just look at the Knicks versus Lakers, the two teams really in this Anthony Davis thing, because Boston, they don't have the Memphis pick now. Their best picked offer is 9. Obviously, 3 is better than 4, and we can talk more about RJ in a moment. But now let's go player for player. No matter what you say about Brandon Ingram, no matter your questions about his health, he's a better asset than Kevin Knox. No matter what you think of Lonzo Ball, he's a better asset than Dennis Smith Jr. No matter what you think of Kyle Kuzma, he's a better asset than Mitchell Robinson. I don't know if they are enough better to overcome 3 versus 11. They are definitely enough to overcome 3 versus 4. And David Griffin was hired and empowered to make the best deal out there. I think this is a superstar draft with Zion, a perennial all-star draft in Ja Morant, and then a bunch of unknown quantities in RJ, in Cam, in Darius Garland, the kid that played 5 games for Vanderbilt. Bol, the son of Manute Bol, is going to go somewhere in the late 10s, early teens. He's interesting to me. He won't go number 4. But of course, the Lakers are in such a better position now, Colin. They do not have to make it to where Brandon Ingram, with his health history, is the centerpiece of your trade. The centerpiece, you say to New Orleans, we will give you the 4th pick and 2 former number 2 overall picks. There is your rebuild. There is your young core to go ahead, to go forward with Zion. The Knicks would have to be totally in love with RJ Barrett to take the Knicks offer, which does not have a player as good as Ingram or Lonzo over the Lakers offer, but maybe they are.
But Gail Benson does not like the Lakers. They badmouthed her franchise. She'd rather send Anthony Davis east, not west, and watch him in the playoffs with LeBron. That's
all
a real.
True.
That's
all
a
true. But
that's a thing.
I was told, just to be fair, I was told David Griffin was told under no uncertain terms by Mickey Loomis, if we do trade Anthony Davis, we are empowering you to make the best trade. That they are not going to put handcuffs on him, or else he wasn't going to take that job. Now, maybe they'll renege on that at the last minute, but I've been told David Griffin is empowered to make the best deal available.
Okay, nobody wants to say this because Kevin Durant's great, and the media has a lot of people that are on the fence, and they're safe takers. You have strong opinions. I have strong opinions. I think it explains why we've had some success, right? Like, nobody wants to say this, but I'm watching the Warriors without Kevin Durant, and I'm going to say it. They're going to be fine without Kevin Durant. Clay and Steph. Am I crazy? I mean, I'm not saying better. Yeah. I'm not saying better, but they look good to me.
The 31-4 when Steph plays and KD doesn't in the last 3 years. I said this in one of my very first times ever filling in for you. In fact, the very first time I think I was filling in for you was the day KD went to Golden State. And I said the Warriors, it was a mistake, that the Warriors should have just run back the 73-win team. They've since then won 2 titles, probably going to win a 3rd. So it wasn't a mistake, obviously. I was wrong about that. But they don't need him. The most important Warrior is Steph. You can say KD's better. You can say KD's the best player in the league. Don't care. Steph is the guy they cannot do without. When KD plays and Steph doesn't, they win 60% of their games. When Steph plays and KD doesn't, they win 90% of their games. The results are in. KD's going to leave, and they are going to be the favorites in the West next year.
Yes.
He is an insurance policy. He is a luxury. He is a Maserati when you already have a couple Porsches. It's nice to have, but you never needed it. And so Kevin Durant, now I've also heard you say Kevin Durant plus Kyrie, you need more out east. Not if you're right and Kevin Durant's the best player in the world. If we have seen the best player in the world plus Kyrie, what have we seen them do? Oh, yeah, win a title against the 73-win Warriors. So we'll get to see if Kevin Durant's the best player in the world or the 3rd or 4th or 5th best player in the world when he goes out on his own, when he goes east to try to do something without these guys. But of course the Warriors will be fine without him. They've always been fine without him. They were fine before he got there. They're going to be the favorites once he leaves, and they would be the favorites. I think Milwaukee's great. I think they'll have trouble with Milwaukee no matter what. But they'll be the favorites or the co-favorites with or without him.
By the way, you're right. And I've talked to somebody in Vegas about this, ironically, about a week ago, and he said, no, the Golden State would be favored to win the championship with or without KD. So we're not saying better. They're different. But this idea they're going to fall off a cliff is nonsense. Nick Wright firing stuff today. You got anything else?
And you know who is better? Steph Curry's better without him. Steph Curry, the team might not be, but we get original Splash Brother Steph when KD's not there.
Yep.
The ball is moving. It runs through him. We get MVP Steph when KD's not there. It is a testament to Steph's selflessness. He knew we would start to forget how absolutely amazing he is once KD came. He did it anyway to help win championships. He's reminding us now, and he'll remind us next year. He was the guy that was supposed to take the torch from LeBron before KD got there. He had that opportunity kind of taken from him. He'll have the opportunity again next season.
Nick, good seeing you, buddy. First things first, co-host. Thanks, bud.
Later, man. See you.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that. Is this idea of falling off a cliff stuff? It's just not. Listen. We got 35 games without it. They've won 31. But the media, a lot of people in the media don't want to get ripped on Twitter. They don't want to get. And they sit in the fence and I don't. Just say it. Golden State be the favorite to win it without him. They would. Vegas would. Not saying they would, and I'm not saying they'd be better without him, but they're different, and their different is unbelievable. Steph and Clay are so much freer. By the way, it's way more fun to watch than sort of give it to Kevin, watch him work. And it's not that it's ugly to watch, but this Warriors team is smaller, faster, quicker, more fluid, better passing, more guard-centric. I find it a blast to watch.
It feels like the original Warriors
yes.
that made us fall in love with the Splash Brothers to begin with.
Yeah.
And embrace that style of basketball.
We've never loved this version of them as much as that version of them.
Absolutely.
Coming up, more on the New York Jets making the right move. Plus, I'll tell you who really lost in the draft last night. Any Kosher GM will tell you the foundation, the very foundation of any great team is great talent. So that's why people dedicate